You're scrolling through your phone at 11 p.m. and you accidentally open your banking app. And for just a split second, before your brain fully registers what it's seeing you feel fine. Then the numbers load, and that familiar knot forms in your stomach. You're over 30. You're not broke exactly. You're working, you're paying your bills. You might even have a little something tucked away. But somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this quiet, persistent voice that keeps asking the same uncomfortable question. Should I have more by now? The answer is probably yes. And today I'm going to tell you exactly why that happened, what it's actually costing you, and more importantly, what you can do about it right now. Because here's the thing, being over 30 with less than $50,000 saved isn't a life sentence, but it is a wake-up call, and most people keep hitting snooze on it. I obsess over financial psychology, the math behind wealth building, and why intelligent, hardworking people end up financially stuck for years, sometimes decades, without ever understanding why. If that resonates with you, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, because what I'm about to share might genuinely change how you see your financial situation forever. The uncomfortable truth. Let's start with the number that nobody wants to say out loud. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median savings for Americans between the ages of 30 and 44 sits at around $27,900. Let that sink in for a moment. The median, meaning half of working-age adults in their prime earning years have less than that. You are not an outlier. You are part of an enormous, largely silent majority of people who are working hard and still falling behind financially. And here's what makes this really frustrating. This isn't happening because people are lazy or irresponsible. Most people in this situation are doing everything they were told to do. They went to school, they got jobs, they paid their taxes, they maybe even have a 401k they contribute to occasionally. But the system most people are operating inside of is quietly, consistently working against them. And the worst part is nobody ever sat them down and explained the rules of the actual game they were playing. So let's do that right now. The real reason you're behind. Here's what most people don't realize about the financial gap that opens up in your 30s. It's not caused by one big mistake. I think it's caused by 1,000 small ones that all share the same root. You optimized your life for the present instead of the future. And I don't mean that as an insult, I mean it as a diagnosis. Think about what happens in your 20s. You get your first real paycheck, and instead of asking, how do I make this work for me in 10 years? You ask, what can I afford right now? You upgrade your apartment, you lease a car, you start eating at real restaurants instead of ramen. All perfectly reasonable things, all completely normal, all quietly devastating to your long-term wealth. There's actually a psychological term for this, present bias. It's the tendency to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future ones. Researchers at Princeton found that when people think about their future selves, the part of the brain that activates is the same part that activates when thinking about a stranger, not yourself, a stranger. So when your 32-year-old self decided to skip maxing out the 401k and take that vacation instead, your brain literally treated your future self like someone you've never met. Someone whose problems aren't really your problem. That's not a character flaw. That's human neuroscience working against your bank account. The math that will haunt you. Now let's talk about the number that will either motivate you or keep you up at night. Possibly both. And I want you to actually follow this math because it's the most important thing in this video. Let's say you're 32 years old and you have $15,000 saved. If you put that $15,000 into a diversified index fund, averaging a historically normal 8% annual return, and you never add another dollar to it, you'll have roughly $146,000 by age 65. That sounds decent, right? Here's where it gets really interesting. If you had started at 22 instead of 32 with that same $15,000 and the same 8% return, you'd have $315,000 by 65. Same money, same investment, same rate of return. The only difference is 10 years, and that one decade of delay cost you $169,000. That's not a typo. $169,000 gone. Not because you did anything wrong in your 30s, but because of what you didn't do in your 20s. That is the brutal, unforgiving math of compound interest. Albert Einstein allegedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. And the cruel twist is that it works just as powerfully against you when you're behind as it does for you when you're ahead. You're the trap nobody warns you about. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it. I should have started earlier, but I can't go back in time, so what's the point of this? And that's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps people stuck. Because the point isn't to make you feel bad about the past. The point is to make you furious enough about it to do something different today. Here's the trap. When people realize they're behind financially, most of them respond in one of two ways. Either they panic and make reckless decisions, throwing money into crypto or high-risk stocks trying to catch up fast, or they feel so overwhelmed that they do nothing at all. Both responses are completely understandable, and both will make your situation significantly worse. The people who actually close the gap do something that feels almost too boring to be effective. They get brutally honest about their biggest financial leak, they plug it, and they redirect that money with obsessive consistency. That's it. No secret investment strategy. No lucky break. Just plugging the leak. So let's talk about where that leak probably is, because I'd be willing to bet I already know. Where your money is actually going. The average American household spends $12,000 a year on food. That's groceries plus dining out. The average car payment right now is $726 per month. That's $8,712 per year just in payments before you add insurance, gas, and maintenance. And the average monthly subscription cost per American household. A Federal Reserve study found people spend an average of $219 per month on subscription services, and most people underestimate this by about 40%. Add it up, and you're looking at potentially $25,000 to $30,000 per year flowing out of your life in three categories alone. And here's the brutal truth about that. Almost none of it is building you any equity, any investment value, or any financial security. It is pure consumption. Money in, experiences out, nothing left behind. And I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to never eat a meal you enjoy or drive a car. What I am telling you is that most people have absolutely no idea these numbers are this large because they've never actually looked. They pay everything in small monthly chunks, and the brain doesn't naturally add those up. That's by design, by the way. Yet every subscription service, every car dealership, every restaurant chain is built around the psychology of making their cost feel smaller than it is. The $50,000 shift and why it's different from $20,000. Here's what most people don't realize about the $50,000 threshold, specifically for people over 30. It's not just a savings milestone, it's a leverage point. And at your age, leverage is the entire game. When you're 22 and you have $20,000 saved, time is your biggest asset. You've got 40 years of compounding ahead of you, but when you're over 30, you have something potentially even more powerful: earning capacity. You have a career, skills, a network, a professional reputation. The problem is most people are using those assets to fund a lifestyle instead of using them to build wealth. The $50,000 milestone changes that dynamic completely. Here's why. With $50,000 in invested assets earning 8% annually, you're generating $4,000 per year, roughly $333 per month, completely passively. That's your phone bill, your electric bill, your grocery budget working for you in the background without you lifting a finger. It's not retirement money yet, but it is proof that money can work as hard as you do. And once you see that, once you feel that shift, your entire relationship with spending changes. You stop seeing income as something to spend and start seeing it as something to deploy. That cognitive shift is worth more than any investment tip I could ever give you. The actual roadmap, no fluff. So let me give you something concrete. If you're over 30 with less than $50,000 saved, here is the actual sequence of moves that closes the gap faster than anything else. The first move is a full financial audit, not a budget, an audit. Go back through your last 90 days of bank and credit card statements and categorize every single dollar. Most people find $400 to $800 per month of spending they genuinely cannot account for or explain. That money is your starting capital. The second move is attacking your single biggest non-mortgage debt with every dollar you free up. The average credit card interest rate right now is over 21%. There is no investment on earth that reliably beats a guaranteed 21% return. Paying off high-interest debt is your best investment right now. The third move, and this one surprises people, is to increase your income before you try to optimize your budget any further. Look, there's a ceiling on how much you can cut. There is no ceiling on how much you can earn. One negotiated raise, one freelance skill monetized, one side income stream can do more for your savings rate in 12 months than 5 years of coupon clipping. And the fourth move is automation. Once you free up that monthly cash flow, automate it immediately. Before you can see it, before you can spend it, before your present biased brain can convince you it needs new shoes. Set it up once. Let it run. Check it every quarter. Look, I want to be straight with you because I think you deserve that. Being over 30 with less than $50,000 saved is not the end of your story. But it might be the end of the version of your story where you're just hoping things improve on their own. Because here's what I've learned studying financial psychology. Hope is not a wealth building strategy. The people who turn this around, and they absolutely do turn it around, are the ones who decide on a specific Tuesday, not on January 1st, not someday, but on a random Tuesday, that the version of themselves who kept drifting financially is done. They make one real decision, they take one real action, and they build from there. Your 40-year-old self is being built right now by the choices your 32 or 35 or 38-year-old self makes today. That person is counting on you to stop watching and start acting. If this video hit home for you, I want you to do one thing right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Open your banking app and look at the last 90 days of your spending. Just look. That's the first step. Then drop a comment below telling me the one financial habit you're committing to change, starting this week. I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper on the mechanics of building wealth from scratch, the real math, the real psychology, the real strategies, subscribe to this channel because that is exactly what we do here every single week. No fluff, no get-rich-quick nonsense, just the truth about money that nobody else is telling you. See you in the next one.